Were you thinking about playing competitive Season 2 with your friends? Well, I hope you're not a support player, because if you are, there's a good chance you can't, as once again, it looks like supports are getting screwed in Overwatch's rating system. In Season 1, we talked about the fact that many support players reported ranking up slower than their damage-dealing teammates. This was due to the fact that the amount of skill rating you get is determined partially by your individual performance. Now, if you're an above-average player, this is great while playing damage-dealing heroes. You'll be able to get more eliminations, deal more damage, and have higher kill streaks than the average player, meaning you'll be rewarded with more skill rating. However, if you're an above average player playing with other above average players, and you're the one healing, there's a good chance you'll get less skill rating than them, because if your teammates are getting lots of kills and not taking much damage, your healing will be lower than a support playing with bad teammates who are taking tons of damage, and lower than average healing means you won't get as much skill rating. Now, unfortunately, with Blizzard's nebulous system of using individual performance to decide how much skill rating you get, we don't have hard numbers to say yes, this is exactly what's happening. But there's plenty of anecdotal evidence, and the theory is further supported by the fact that 90% of the highest ranked players in the game all primarily play damage-dealing heroes and not supports. In a meta that most of the time has 2 healers on each team of 6, means that there are a ton of support players not ranking as high as their damage-dealing teammates. But why does any of this matter? So what if your skill rating is lower than your friends? Well, it matters because if you're the support player, having a lower rating than your friends might mean you can't play with them at all. That's right, because in Season 2, the rating restrictions are much harsher. In competitive Season 1, Blizzard had a requirement of less than a 50 skill rating difference between people queuing together. But you might not have noticed it, because this accounts for most of the player base. If you were rank 30, you could still queue with your rank 70 friend. This turned into an issue, however, as high-level players would make a new account, purposefully fail their placement matches to get a low rank, and then queue again with their high-ranking friends. This would bring down the team average and make them have easier games against lower-ranked people. They were essentially trolling and boosting their accounts at the same time. This was enough of an issue that Blizzard decided to put a much tougher restriction on the skill rating difference when queuing with friends. The new rating system is on a larger scale, but the current restriction is equivalent to a 10 rating difference in Season 1. And although that's a big difference, given how volatile the system is and you can go up and down 5 or 10 levels in a single afternoon, having only a 10 level restriction is a bit too much. In fact, already after only a couple of days of testing on the PTR, support players are reporting being out-leveled by their teammates to the point of not being able to play with them. It's so severe that in some cases, after playing the 10 placement matches all together as a single team, the support players by the end of it will be low enough that they can no longer queue with the rest of the team going forward. So this is a problem on 2 fronts. One is the fact that support players appear to still be getting screwed by a system trying to take individual performance into account, which, as mentioned above, can be very flawed and difficult to determine for healers playing with good teammates. And 2 is the new overly restrictive limitations set on skill rating difference between teammates, making the skill rating system all the more punishing for support players. One of these 2 things need to change, plain and simple. If Blizzard wants to keep individual performance as a factor in the amount of skill rating you get, fine. Those of you who play support mains will just have to deal with the fact that your rating will be lower than it could be if you played a damage dealer. Remember, this isn't to say that support players can't get a high rating, it just means that the system does appear to favor damage dealers. And if Blizzard doesn't want to change that, then there at least needs to be a lift on these new rating restrictions so that lower ranked support players could still play with their friends. If they want to combat the trolling issue of high ranked players making low level accounts, they can try new methods, like, I don't know, changing how the team averages are calculated. I get that there's no easy answer. There's a whole slew of issues that rise if you decide to not take individual performance into account. The main one, of course, being what happens if you're playing great, but the other 5 teammates of yours all suck. Should you be punished for that? I mean, in a way you already are, because if your 5 teammates truly suck, there's a good chance you're not going to win the game anyways. It's just an issue as it stands right now, and it's mainly an issue for those support people. Again, let's not forget the fact, if you take a look at the top 100 players basically on any realm, it's mostly damage dealers. And remember, most teams consist of 2 healers, so having 90% of the top players be damage dealers means there's a ton of healers that are also playing with those people that just aren't aren't getting a high rating. This is clearly a flawed system, and is especially hurting those of you who are playing support, and that's going to be a huge issue if that means you literally just can't play with the people that you're trying to support because they're out-leveling you. Blizzard needs to change something. It's as easy as that. Alright guys, that is going to do it for me here today as we talk about the fact that supports do appear to still be getting screwed, and it might be even worse in Season 2 unless something changes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and until next time, I'll see you later. Oh yeah, have a good afternoon, that too, I forgot that.